Hello again, and welcome to episode 167 of SDGC for Thursday, October 24th. If you're not aware, Super Deformed Gamescast meets right here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do a whole bunch of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and television, pre-recorded content, and a bi-weekly morning show every other Friday. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home. And if not, hey, feel free to stick around and throw us a sub. Every single podcast is archived to the next day on our YouTube channel for those who like to watch, and you can find us on all major podcast services for those who like to listen. Good evening, my friends.
What up?
Good evening.
Good evening. Reb is extra spooky tonight.
I'm super spooky, yeah. I got
Reb,
my,
do you want to explain what's going on here?
Yeah, so I've got my spooky skull sweater on, which I'm really mad. I forgot that I owned this until today, which it's October 24th. I have a very limited window of time to continue wearing this. I also have a shirt.
Only if you're a coward.
The skull on my shirt is made out of cats. I don't know if you can see that, but that's my mood. And then I have here my pin, which is a unicorn with a candy corn. So it's a unicandy corn. And then I got my spooky dark lipstick on. So, you know, Halloween, bitches.
Ooh, shit. Put some fucking spice on that, Reb.
Yeah.
Damn. And I want to know what's going on. So, like, Derek's got this plaid thing going on. Like, are you wearing a bathrobe?
No,
Is that what that is?
it's
It's
flannel.
dark over
No,
there.
can't
It's
a
a
man
flannel
just wear
shirt.
some plaid? Like,
It's just a flannel shirt.
let the
Okay,
man
no.
be comfy. That's
I'm in
Mr.
full-
Autumn Man over there you're speaking to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm in full autumn, like, Kentucky boy mode.
Regalia.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Zach is looking, as Reb pointed out before we started, very stylish, very hip.
Our sharp
Uh,
boy.
Zach,
Thank
you're
you.
looking quite. And Zach, that haircut is fucking lit. Like,
Thank
that's
you.
a
It's
great.
Yeah, I
quite
dig it.
good. Yeah.
It was more money than I'm used to paying for a men's haircut.
Oh,
Yeah, really.
It
What do you
looks
pay?
really good. You pull it off really well.
It
Well,
was
never tried to
it
get a
was-
women's 30
Yeah,
bucks. Are you shitting
It was
me?
$30
God
human
damn,
dollars.
Fuck you.
I
That's
I
not-
used to
Fuck
pay
not that bad.
18. So this is a big raise
Fuck
for
you
me.
all and your cheap ass haircuts. My God.
So-
Hey John, how much was your last haircut?
Pretty.
Sorry.
Pretty.
Sorry, bud.
Pretty funny shit here we got.
Sorry, bud.
So
Mm,
Zach, you have to specify.
Brandon.
Are you referring to the hair on my head or the hair on my face?
On the dome, big boy.
On the dome. Okay, yeah. Well, I save a lot of money on haircuts, Zach. You know this.
Yeah, but you spend a lot
I'm
on
very
razors.
frugal. I'm very frugal.
Oh god.
So what is happening in the chat with Nightball?
Nightbot just buzzed
Shut
Dio.
down.
So I need
Oh,
to
Put
teach.
Dio back.
He's
Night-
good. I need to
Don't
teach
hurt Dio.
Nightbot how to chill its fucking tits out.
Because
Brandon, you look
Night-
really nice today.
Thank you.
You look
You
really
do.
nice.
Styling and
Brandon-
profiling, yeah.
Brandon's got a lot of color in his cheeks. You guys see that?
Mhm.
He does.
And
You look
Jeff,
really
you're
good.
looking. Jeff, you look really buff.
And
You do.
sharp?
Oh.
Like physically sharp?
And sharp,
Physically
like,
sharp.
like if I
Very
touched you, I
polygonal.
would bleed. Maybe.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh.
It's fucking
I'm actually
weird.
wearing a Yankee sweater, so even if I had my webcam on, I think I'd have it off.
Look at
Okay.
his face though. He looks like he's really spaced out. Like he's
He
just. got
does.
dead
I know.
look on
It's
his
been
face.
a hard week. I feel like it should already be Saturday, and it's just fucking not.
It's been a long ass week.
So I just want to make sure, Derek, Nightbot's not going to go rogue on us, is it?
Not
like,
to
this
my
isn't like a
knowledge,
Skynet
but I'm
situation
working
happening.
on him right now.
Skynet.
So
I don't think we're gonna get a Skynet situation in the SDGC
It is the
Twitch
year of
chat.
Terminator. Terminator. Fingers crossed we do.
That
This
was,
is the long-awaited SDGC Terminator crossover.
So listen, I know a lot of people are ready for a modern solution to new games. That was the worst segue I've ever done.
that
I'm so
was
sorry.
yeah,
Let
that
me
was
walk it back.
That was
What
garbage.
have you been playing? Save me from myself.
Who wants to go?
I said Reb.
Oh,
yeah.
me. I'm sorry. I didn't hear my name. I'm playing.
Rebecca.
God. Okay.
Whoa.
I'm
Rebecca.
playing my full name. Fuck off. I'm playing Control right now. I'm still playing Control. I've been streaming it. I'm really enjoying it. It is. I think I've like complained maybe a lot on stream about this. So I know there's like at least 1 or 2 people in chat who have watched me stream who are probably sick of hearing me complain about this. But I really like have not played a ton of shooters in the last couple of years. And I was actually listening to Waypoint Radio, and I can't remember who on that show was talking about this. It might have been, it was whoever was talking about Manifold Gardens. So I don't remember who that was.
Patrick.
Probably Patrick. That sounds right. but he was talking about like the difference between games that challenge your mind and the difference and games that challenge your dexterity. And I have mostly played games that challenge my mind over the last like year and a half, 2 years even, and not a ton of games that challenge my dexterity. Like the most that I've done is World of Warcraft, and that like rating at high level in that game is mostly like rote at this point because I understand my rotation really well, and it's more research and practice rather than dexterity and reaction times. And so it's just challenging for me. Like this sounds really stupid, but I keep forgetting to remember. Like I don't remember that I have a dodge button. It just doesn't occur to me that that's in my tool set. I like shoot and I throw things, and then sometimes I remember I can crouch behind pillars, but I like forget that I have a dodge button. And I just like you just have to train those things. But I did, however, prove myself. I won a game of Fortnite this week.
I saw
Wow.
it.
I won a
saw.
game
I'm
of
very
Fortnite.
proud
I
of you.
did.
Wow.
Fortnite
really-
is not an easy game to win.
It
in
is
solo.
not. It is not easy to win.
Did you just
And
build?
No, I didn't build
Just
it at
build?
all. No.
Nice.
I-
Has anyone told Reb that you play as bots play against bots for your
You
first few
don't,
rounds?
actually.
Hey,
Do you play against
guys.
Nightbots?
Jeff, you didn't have to do that, my dude.
I just
Yeah.
curious. I'm not saying.
How long
Wow.
before it matches you with real people?
No, you don't play against bots.
I'm like level 8. Surely
Yeah,
it's matching me
no
with real
way.
people by now.
Okay,
No,
I'm
play
just.
with
It was
real
mostly
people,
just a
it's
joke, but no,
easy.
in the new
Yeah.
season they do what PUBG does, where your first few rounds are against bots, and it gradually
Reb
turns to more
looks
and more.
Are you
Regular
actually
players?
serious?
Jeff, why did
They
you
really
do
do-
that?
They really
No,
do
I'm just
that?
like I'm not saying that's what happened to Reb. I just was curious. But if she's level 8, it was probably. I'm so sorry. I just-
Wait, oh god, Jeff, you
Hey,
are the worst
hey.
can of worms. What?
Hey.
What the way to go, my dude?
Because I remember I played PUBG on my phone and I was like, holy shit, like I got second place. And then someone told me that and I was like, oh, fuck.
You just
Reb's got-
broke Reb. Thanks. Look,
Reb's got the face she puts on every time I bet Final Fantasy VI.
now she's a sad ghost.
Now she's
Jeff,
just
how do you
sad.
know what the
God.
rules of the new season of Fortnite are?
I just saw someone tweet about it like 2 days ago. Otherwise I wouldn't have
Okay,
even
fair enough.
known.
By the way, shout out to Nintendo and Chad who gifted Nightbot with some subs.
Reb, I'm
Great.
so sorry.
Reb,
fine.
I'm laughing with you. I'm not laughing at you, I promise.
Brandon,
I promise.
You have only
Brandon-
made me more determined to win again.
At this point, Reb,
There
you're
you
playing
go.
with real people. So you probably what?
They gave me an umbrella, and the umbrella, whenever I jump out of the plane, it's this nice umbrella that makes water shoot out of it like a fountain, and it's very
Oh.
nice. And I have not spent any real money on this game yet, so I only have the default avatar, and I look very
Yet?
stupid.
you say you haven't spent any money yet?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I
Never
don't know.
say never. Something
I
should
don't
up the
wanna talk
shop. You
about how much
might.
money
I
spent on
do put
Fortnite.
$5 into Pokemon Go about once a month. I mean,
Sure.
I
Maybe
actually have.
I too participate in the horrible microtransaction hell economy.
Maybe
got it
you
under
slip a little bit
control.
of Tim Sweeney and he hooks you up.
I
I
actually
mean-
have a question for Reb about
Oh
Fortnite.
no. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
well, no, it's about Fortnite. As somebody who traditionally does not care for battle royale style games, has anything changed in Fortnite enough to where it warrants me going back and checking it out, or is it just more Fortnite with more shit?
It is more Fortnite. I do think so. Here's the thing that appealed to me. I think did I talk about this on the last podcast or
No,
at some point?
don't
I think
know.
remember talking
I
about
swear I've
Fortnite.
talked about this.
No.
I think you talked about it
Maybe
on the
was
morning
the-
show.
It was on the morning show. Okay,
Yeah.
well, the short version of what I said on the morning show is that I tried Fortnite back like months and months ago, and at this point the game was already like really firmly established. Like
I
it was
remember
already
seeing
we already
those.
knew it was like super popular. But I was like, okay, well, I need to get on this. I need to like understand this game, like to do my work better. And I jumped in, and it was just really, really obtuse to me. Like it was not intuitive. It gave me like all these menus. It kept like throwing ads for microtransactions at me that I didn't want because I hadn't even played a match yet. It didn't tell me what the controls were. I mean, everybody knows like the basic control to like shoot a gun in a game, but other than that,
Right.
like there's all this building. I didn't know how to do any of that. I didn't understand. Like, I didn't even end up. I wanted to just be in a regular battle royale match because I understand like the base. 100 people, last one standing wins. Like, I understand that concept, but it threw me
Right.
into some other weird kind of match where I was like on a team with some other people. It wasn't a squad, but it was like I still don't really understand what it was. I think it was like 50 on 50,
one of
and
the
it was like
limited time
Yeah.
limits. Yeah.
yeah, it was something weird like
That's
that, and it didn't like explain to me what this thing was that I was in. I had no idea who was on my team or what my goals and objectives were. It was very confusing, and I tried this a few times. I just got so frustrated, and I burnt out on it really quick. And this, I think, it does I love the intro. Like the first time you boot up Fortnite in the new season, it has this really cool kind of like like intro video that transitions seamlessly into you on the bus, and it just dumps you into a match immediately. And then it has a couple little like tutorial tips, not a gajillion of them, but a couple just kind of on the side that say, okay, you know, open chests or use your pickaxe or build something, like very, very simple stuff. And it was just nice. It transitioned me very nicely into what was actually going on in the game. And so I didn't feel just so out of my element that I was immediately alienated by it. I liked that a lot.
That sounds like a super smooth onboarding. Like, I mean, obviously the game's been out for like 2 years now, but like
right,
so much smoother than these games used to be.
Right, but that's like really smart, right? Because they already have this huge audience, but that audience is dwindling, and they know it, and they are going to obviously get a bunch of people back for Chapter 2. However, they have this audience that is so familiar with the ins and outs of this game. Like, they are in tune with this. It's a cultural event. If you are one of the people who is on the outside of it, it's real hard to get and understand, which is why I think that this Chapter 2, it's kind of it's a reboot. It's a brand new map. It's a bunch of brand new things. They've added some new mechanics, but not too many. They've cleaned up the UI a lot. It's really nice.
One sec, Rob. I've never seen, when I was playing, so many players that clearly had absolutely no idea what the hell was going on when I was playing Fortnite.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the other thing. So Fortnite, I mean, I could talk like all day about Fortnite, like how Fortnite is like people use it as a social network tool now. Like kids, they just like go in and they just shoot the shit and they hang out. Like they don't even necessarily play the game sometimes. Like Fortnite is a million things. It also has like objectives that have nothing to do with killing people. Like I have a bunch of objectives that are just like go discover a bunch of locations. And so I spent several matches just running around the map doing nothing. Like there's fishing in the game and it doesn't do very much for you, but it's fun. Like it's just kind of this wild, weird game where there's just a bunch of weird things to do and people goof off and some of them actually take the game seriously. It doesn't matter. Sorry, I'll finish. No. The point I was trying to make is that if they made a really good decision where they are trying to get some of the people who are on the outside of this in for the first time, and so they did kind of like a soft reboot, and they made it easier for them to enter. And so I think they will see, I don't know that we'll necessarily see the results of it in numbers, but I think that they will see a gentle surge of new people who are interested because of this. I think they did a good job. It was a smart move.
Sorry, go ahead, Zach. No, please, Zach.
All I was gonna say is, before we move on to like the next thing, is like I was just gonna say, it seems like what you're describing with like the fishing and like going to these new places has always kind of been an objective, but like doing more of that stuff and more side activities is just like another step in Epic being like, hey, people are gonna get sick of the shooting aspect of this. Let's just turn this into a fucking platform. Yeah. Like it's so much more of a social space than it was. Like I dipped in that game like maybe 18 months ago, and then I dropped off like maybe 2 months after that. But like back then it was like hardcore. It was very much like the bare bones, like you're dropping, you're shooting, and then you're back on a menu and you do it again. Like it's super cool and interesting to see that like Epic isn't just kind of letting it die. Like they're gonna try to keep it going.
I've had multiple industry people who I have spoken to, like developers and publishers, in interviews where we somehow mentioned Fortnite, reference the fact that Fortnite is now more of a social platform than it is a game.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really astute observation.
Yep.
I'd say it's been that way since they introduced the whatever, like that island building mode, the creative mode. Mm-hmm. That's kind of sort of like the introduction. Your own little hub world where people can just kind of hang out and do like mini games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, that was like deeply off topic, but there you
go. No, it wasn't off topic at all. That's what you.
I want to give a quick shout out to Cam Koenig and Badbit in chat. Both are Cam is on a 6-month sub streak and Badbit is on a 3-month streak. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
You're so great.
We really appreciate that. We really appreciate that.
We do have some topics. I know I want to talk about what I've been playing. Does everybody else still want to run through what they've been playing? Brandon, I want your Final Fantasy update of what's been going on in Final Fantasy.
Brandon,
please. No, we'll save that for next week when the new patch.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Wait, Brandon, tell
big patch drops. New raid content.
What's in the new patch?
Okay, so the new patch, more difficult bosses. The Nier crossover raid. The continuation of the main story.
Yoko Taro's writing the expansion, right?
Yeah. Brandon, did you see the bullet hell stuff in the raid?
I did. It looks like Nier. Like
it's so good.
Trailer, so Zach, it's pretty crazy. Yoko Taro actually designed the raid, and they got the Nier composer to do the music for it.
That was my question.
I can't fucking wait.
Brad, have you heard the Weight of the World remix in the trailer?
Link me.
Yeah, I will. It's insane.
It's so good. It looks so.
You don't care about Final Fantasy spoilers, so go ahead and watch it.
Don't care.
This trailer is super spoilery for anyone who actually plays.
No. Who cares?
And hasn't gotten to the end yet, but I will send it.
That's rad. So next week you're gonna come in here and you're gonna give us.
I've already signed up to run the raid with my guild on day 1.
Fuck yeah.
John and I are gonna do it for sure.
Yep. Brandon you and I got to tackle a Dying Gaspic stream.
We will do that.
Oh my god, I can't fucking wait. I fucking love Final Fantasy 14 so much. Thank you. I love this game. I'll just say what I've been playing real quick. I'm 60 hours into Dragon Quest 11 on Switch. And I'm at the final dungeon, but I also know there's another 30 hours of game after the credits because the game actually continues after the credits. It's not the end of the game. And I'm not talking about post content either. There's a whole other 1/3 of the game left after the credits roll. So I'm 60 hours into that. I will clear the final dungeon probably tonight, and then I'll spend probably all weekend trying to polish this up before Derek arrives next Friday or next Thursday for our extra live stream, because I love Dragon Quest 11, and I need to get it done before Derek gets here. So that's and I've been mixing that up with some Ace Attorney. I am now an Ace Attorney convert. Those games fucking rule.
Yeah, they do.
Dude, those games are fucking awesome. The writing is so fucking good.
So
anyway,
funny.
I don't want to take too much time. Who wants to go next?
Either Derek or Jeff. What do you guys got? What have you been playing?
Nothing.
Derek
playing life.
Like next week is gonna be packed because I'm gonna play. I already pre-ordered Modern Warfare and the FF patch is coming out. So like between both of those, like I got a ton of stuff to talk about next week and nothing tonight.
Okay, well then I guess I will keep mine super tight and brief too, which is to say that I played like 20 hours and beat my first run through of Disco Elysium this week. Super good game. I want to put more time to talk about that game, but I think that we'll probably do an SDGC after hours because a couple of us have been playing. We really like it. But like the quick thing is that you are like pretty cliche intro, but you are like alcoholic cop who has no memory of what he did. There's been a murder. You need to solve it. And also a detective from a different precinct is coming because there's a dispute over which detective should be running the case. And so you're trying to maintain that relationship, maintain a sense of professionalism, and also, who knows, maybe introduce communism to a struggling community. But you don't even have to. The game is all about player choice. There's so many ways you can do things. It is very much D&D pen and paper style RPG of like put points into virtue and put points into like your persuasion, and it's super deep. There's constant skill checks. It's been like probably my favorite game this year, or at least up there. But I know that SDGC's Maddie and also, of course, Finn have been playing it also. So
yeah, Finn has been singing the praises of this game for quite some time now.
Way before launch. So it's super good. So I'm super looking forward to that. Derek, do you have any games that you've been playing before we roll on?
Yeah. So aside from the usual stuff that I've been playing, like ongoing, I've been streaming Mass Effect slowly. I've been playing the hell out of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I beat the Evil Within. I started playing Slay the Spire, which is really fun, really cool little like roguelike card battle game. But the big thing is I've picked back up my slow ongoing. I've been deciding to experience the campaigns of every Call of Duty game from Modern Warfare onward, because I've never played any of them, and I hit Modern Warfare 2, and I just gotta say,
you're really missing out on the first few.
Well, I mean, I don't know how good the PC
are
the PC ports actually like good though, because that's
the Call of Duty 1 was a PC only game.
I'll peek back to them.
Call of Duty 2 was the 360 version, was a port.
But yeah, they're just very different types of games, but I liked the different campaigns that they had in each of them, like the perspective.
You gotta check that out. But like Modern Warfare 2 is funny because it definitely feels better to play than like the original Modern Warfare and then World at War did. Which I see why it was so popular. It is also easily the stupidest fucking campaign.
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
It is, if you asked somebody to like, I almost...
Defend Burger Town!
Ramirez, take down that helicopter with your throwing knife!
The memes were priceless.
It is so, it feels like a satire of itself, but I know it's serious. I've heard the phrase Oscar Mike more fucking times in the last couple of days.
I don't know if it was that serious, because like... It was like right after Call of Duty 4.
I don't know.
Serious.
There's not a lot of tongue-in-cheek going on in this.
Real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to send a very special welcome to our boy JT in the chat right now.
Yo,
who has not been able to be on the podcast in a very long time because he's just been so busy. But buddy, just want to let you know we love you and we miss you. And whenever you have time, whenever you have time to come back, you've always got a spot here, buddy.
I want to see my little boy.
Just want to tell you that you're our favorite squirrel, buddy. We love you.
Favorite squirrel.
Yeah.
Anyway, please continue.
That's what I got. Modern Warfare 2 is fun. It is so fucking stupid.
It is super. Like you storm the
I cannot
White
wait
House.
till
Like,
you
it
get
gets
to.
awesome.
Are you gonna play Black Ops?
Yeah, I'm gonna make my way all the way forward.
Yo.
Cannot wait till you get to Black
Derek!
Ops 3
No,
or
don't
4,
play
which is the
Black
bad
Ops.
one.
Derek,
4 doesn't have a campaign.
Right, 3.
Yeah.
Derek,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, don't play 3. Don't play
look,
Black Ops.
No, I mean, serious question. Like, why?
It's a big part of gaming history that I've never
A lot of them are
experienced.
totally worth
I
playing.
don't
Yeah.
really like online multiplayer stuff, but I enjoy shooters enough. Like they're not
Okay.
really my
Short.
favorite. Unless they're like I loved like Doom, for example. Like shooters can get me, but like Call of Duty is very much not in a style of shooter that I tend to like, but I want to experience it. I want to know it. The campaigns are short and digestible enough that I can burn through these campaigns at a pretty quick rate without like taking a ton of time. I don't know. One time I watched the entire Transformers movie series, even though I hate them because I needed to know why I hated them. Like,
I mean, I just love, Derek, that you are you were eating from the trees that I planted when I say that you went straight from playing Gears of War for the time into the Call of Duty series.
yeah.
So I feel like
Halo's coming whenever the Master Chief Collection gets done on PC.
Yes.
I expect to actually
Please.
really enjoy that. But we gotta
Halo
see.
Infinite. The writing's
played
on the
Halo
wall for that
2.
one, but we'll see.
I played Halo 2 for the first time like 2 years ago, and it's like one of my favorite first.
Yeah, that game fucking owns bones. Yeah.
But I haven't played Halo 3 yet, so I'm like still stuck on that cliffhanger that everyone else was stuck on back in the day.
Master Chief Collection is coming sometime.
You gotta finish the fight, Jeff.
I know, so I'm told.
Master Chief Collection. It was all supposed to be out this year, and we're waiting on Just Reach.
I'm gonna dime out somebody in chat real quick. Because we love our friends in chat and we want everybody to be safe. Blaine Anderson says, I've been driving and I got to find a parking spot, but just want to say, no, Blaine, you've got nothing to say. Find a parking spot. Stop driving and
don't pull a fin
and chatting.
Don't post in Twitch chat and drive.
Don't do it, Blaine.
Don't pull a Finn who used to
on.
podcast while driving.
There is yeah. Don't pull a Finn. Friends don't Finn. You're finning it up over here. All right. Has everybody talked about what they want?
I guess, yeah. So I guess talking about Modern Warfare, Derek, I think it is time for us to have a conversation, which is the games that are coming out this weekend. Is anybody playing Modern Warfare? Derek, is this all leading up to you playing the Modern Warfare reboot? Is it
eventually, but not this weekend.
Podcast tonight to go play
Yeah,
it,
I have
so.
it preloaded,
Sure
ready
did.
to go.
Not this weekend.
As soon as the show is over, I'm
Ready?
gonna boot it up if the servers are working.
Derek, are you planning to play it, or are you gonna wait a little while?
It'll be, look, I gotta go in order, so I'll get to it eventually.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
You'll be there. Okay.
Brandon, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the servers are not working. They're all
Yeah. So here on battle.net, there's a message that says we are aware that some players are currently experiencing latency and server stability issues.
Yikes. I mean, I plan on picking up. I know Brandon, you've got it. I know Maddie from the podcast obviously has it, and then Justin is taking a nice night tonight to kind of try to play it. So I mean, there might be some coverage of that game going forward, but I also think the game that will potentially be forgotten tomorrow at lunch, but you know, Game Pass might help it out a little bit. Outer Worlds is also out tomorrow. It's a little indie project. Has anybody here heard of it?
Zach, I wouldn't say, as far as sales go, as far as mindshare goes, sleep on that one.
Yeah,
we're lucky that Lena's in the chat right now, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah,
I realized today that I have an early copy of that.
Nice.
And I haven't touched it yet. I wasn't gonna bother because, again, I have no money. I can't just like buy every game that I'm interested in. But since it's there,
yeah.
You know what's interesting about the
you know what I probably won't for a while, because I read Karen Kunzelman's review of Disco Elysium on Vice Waypoint today, And no, I'm gonna play that next.
You gotta get
I
to
will
Disco.
spend.
It's so good.
I am going to spend money on that game. That I am going to after reading that.
Play Disco Elysium and then consider doing some content with us to talk about it when you're done, maybe, because it's maybe. I mean, no commitment, but yes, please play that game. That game is so fucking good, Reb.
You got it, dude.
Okay.
So you know what's interesting about the Outer Worlds to me is, you know, every comparisons, and I you know, from a gameplay and an aesthetic standpoint, I completely see where everybody's coming from. But reading about it, I get a lot of Dishonored vibes. In the sense that you've got big open maps, but it's not an open world game. You have multiple ways to get to your objective. Stealth is apparently can be a very big part of it. You know, it's just this is and I was really hoping. I didn't know almost anything about this. I went into it blind, and I was really hoping that it wasn't a big open world, you know, collectathon. And apparently, it's not. And I could not be happier about that.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, especially in the fall games rush, the idea of like committing 60 hours to an RPG, like fuck off,
right? And
like
dude,
Disco...
especially coming off of like a 100-hour RPG, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing is like Disco Elysium was marketed as having like a huge 60-hour campaign. I beat it in 21 hours. Felt like I did it almost, and that felt perfect. Like, and I think that's basically the same time frame people are reporting with Outer. Like everyone was actually saying like
somebody beat it in 6 hours, Zach.
Outer Worlds?
Yeah, Outer Worlds. Yeah.
Sure.
So there was a reviewer who his first playthrough was 40 hours, and then his second playthrough was 6 because he knew exactly where to go. And apparently, dude, you can clear this thing in 6 or 7 hours.
You just kill the bad guy while he's asleep in his house. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Probably something like that.
Yeah, I mean, but so I think this game seems cool. I think it's really interesting. This is a strange game because marketing for it has been so strange.
It really has.
Historically, I think a lot of that is that Private Division, which is owned by its Papa, is 2K. Obviously, like paid a ton of money for the publishing of this game, and then Microsoft bought it, and so it's like this weird thing where like who's actually marketing? Like even Microsoft, who's been historically pretty good about pushing their Game Pass titles, has been a little bit more pulled back and just doing like some social for it. I haven't seen that many promotions. Like it's gonna be a weird one. It's probably a game that's gonna have legs because obviously tomorrow everyone's gonna be talking about the shooty
bang.
Shoot bang.
Call of Duty. The duty that was called. But it looks cool. Like I like that shit where like if you jump off of a high ledge too many times, your character's like afraid of heights, and like you just get a phobia of that.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
You could exchange that for like a perk or whatever. Like that's a cool system. It seems cool. And hey, another even though it's probably not going to go as radical as I'd like, a game that's willing to tackle some corporate politics shit is cool.
Apparently, it goes really hard in on that on the anti stuff. And you know, the other thing that I liked is I hear like, you know, from a campaign standpoint, as far as like, you know, explorable areas, I hear a lot of comparisons to Mass Effect, which is really appealing to me. And again, that's all going back to like, you know, the big open maps, but it's not open world. You've got a hub, and from there you pick where you want to go, and you've got a wide open explorable space. Yeah, Imran in chat says, yeah, if you side with the corporations, you're a garbage person. I completely agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree. The only thing is, Zach, for me, and I don't know, but I'll throw it up to the rest of you, but I have so many fucking games to play right now that I'm going to buy Outer Worlds tonight, and I'm probably not going to touch it for a month, to be perfectly honest with you, because I've just got so much other shit on my plate.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. It's like an RPG, like a cozy 20-hour RPG is like the perfect, like December, like all the games are already out. Cozy weekend game.
Yep.
Like it seems cool. I'm looking forward to checking that out this weekend too. But I guess one little topic we have on the plate, if everybody's ready. Why talk about the Outer Worlds when we can talk about Fallout first?
Boy.
There's the Fallout of Fallout.
Somebody, in case somebody's been living under a rock for the last 24 hours.
It's been a busy news week. Yeah, I got an article in front of me.
It's been a busy news day.
It's been a busy news day. All this shit is like dropping fucking today.
Lena's been texting me about Fallout 76 like nonstop. Like
all right, then who feels best equipped to give everybody the quick rundown?
Yeah, I got it.
First.
I got it. So Bethesda announced a new subscription service. It's tied to Fallout 76. It's called Fallout First. It costs $12.99 a month or $99.99 a year. And it its most notable feature for this subscription service is that if you subscribe to it, you get access to what they tout as your own private world server. It can be used by yourself and up to 7 other people. Those 7 people don't have to be subscribed to Fallout First. They can just be in this private world with you. You don't have a bunch of other people in there fucking it up in theory. And then you also get some other stuff. You get an infinite storage container for like crafting materials. You get this camp that you can kind of like set up. It's got like a bed and a few other like conveniences. You can set it up wherever, and you can fast travel to it at any time. So it's like a placeable fast travel point in the world. You get 1,650 atoms, which is the in-game currency for use in the in-game store. That is equivalent to about $16.50 of real-world money. So like that, if you're straight doing monetary equivalents, like that is what it's worth. Like it's more than what the subscription is worth. And there's also some cosmetics involved. So the reason why this is maybe not going so well for Bethesda is because many of these features, the private worlds, the infinite storage box, the movable camp, those are all things people have been asking for in this game since launch. And Bethesda has been like, yeah, don't worry, we're working on them, don't worry. And then they, instead of just updating the game with these things, they put them behind a subscription service. And the subscription service is basically like a glorified discount on in-game currency that they tied some like really important features behind. And then to top it all off, this dropped like basically right after they announced that a big expansion pack people have been looking forward to is delayed. And people have been finding out in the days since that the private servers are not really all that private. Like they're actually apparently, someone else who knows this will have to explain how it works, but apparently like their server, some people are getting like server seeds or whatever that have been fucked up by other people, and so they're already like all messed up and like items are missing and stuff. And then the other thing too is the box that you get that's supposed to like contain all of your infinite crafting materials.
Storage.
It's just destroyed. You put things in it and they're gone. It's just eating them.
So
it's broken as hell. It's like feels exploitative because it's stuff that people have been asking for forever, and they're just putting it behind the subscription service. And Fallout 76 is a mess anyway. So
when you announce a premium subscription model to your game that's been out for a year, usually that signals maybe you're going to do a transition in your business model, like
free to play or something.
Did they announce a free to play version of the game, or like a discount? Is there a new discounted price?
I mean, to be fair, again, I don't want to defend Bethesda because I think that I just want to be clear. I think this is fucking stupid on all accounts. However, it's a $60 game. A lot of the people who are part of the community paid for $60 for the game at launch, and so they're very frustrated that it's just been this mess this whole time and is continuing to be a mess. If you buy the game today, depending on where you get it, I think I saw it like $10 on Amazon. Bethesda store, I think, has it down to like 30 at least, probably lower. So, and if I remember right, like these discounts happened pretty quickly after the game came out. Like they knew this was not a $60 game.
But it is still a paid game with a subscription to use.
It is still a paid game with microtransactions already in the game.
Yeah.
You have been able to pay for microtransactions since the start.
I just heard Jim Sterling from States Away.
$12.99 a month. $12.99 a month. I think there's a level of
to pay.
I think there's a level of like argumentative dishonesty most of the time in comparing costs of subscription services, because I think it's like depending on what like Fortnite's battle pass is $10 a month or $10 for the battle pass or whatever, and you can like argue like whether that's worth it or not what you're getting, and I think there's like some dishonesty when you try to make those comparisons. However, I do think that if you look at $13 a month for a bunch of shit that should have been just free in the game anyway, compared to $10 a month for Xbox Game Pass and a shit ton of games, like maybe this wasn't
well, and compared to a lot of other games where like if you're going to add features to a game, a lot of times they're tied behind maybe like a season pass or something where you buy it and then you have that stuff because you're in the upgraded version of the game. But like a subscription, $100 for a year, and that's the discount rate.
That's fucking that's fucking wild.
But like what's frustrating, so when I went to PAX East, Maddie and I actually
you are breaking up real bad.
You're
there,
breaking
buddy.
up. Can you start that again?
Okay. Stop me again if it cuts out.
Wait, do you have to pay a subscription fee to play Fallout 76?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
So when
you have
Maddie
to buy
and
the game, though.
Maddie and I went to a panel at PAX, there's actually, I mean, obviously you're at a panel in a Bethesda hosted event, so like your audiences are, a certain way. But people seemed really, really happy with like they announced a whole bunch of new details on the next year worth of season pass content. People were happy with like the roadmap and like the idea of like here's a bunch of free stuff, here's some of the premium stuff that's going to be there. Like people were happy with the model of like new rolling expansions that had some like cost elements to it. It's just strange to see this edition now, after like they've kind of sold the community on like a standard quarterly new expansion thing. It's weird.
US Gamer, I think it's US Gamer. I think it was probably Mike Williams who wrote this maybe today or yesterday. But he has there's a really good opinion piece over there right now that basically the headline is something like, you know, Bethesda spent almost a year trying to rebuild goodwill in the Fallout 76 community, and they were doing okay. Like it wasn't a No Man's Sky kind of turnaround by any stretch of the imagination, but they were doing okay. Like they had a steady community, and just in one night, just
yeah.
Like I think a lot
nuked it.
Like, you know, I think Maddie and me are the only ones that actually play the game, and I play it regularly and have an embarrassing amount of time in it. I just don't like to talk about it because I can't.
That's okay. You like what you like.
I know, but I can't have a conversation about it online. But the problem I think with the pass is it isn't really like for anyone, if that makes sense. So there's access to private worlds, which is kind of like normal. Like I used to pay $7 or $8 a month for a Minecraft world, and was like, you know, maybe some people might think that's a bit much, but that was persistent. So it's like, it's not just the pricing, it's some of the implementation of this. The private worlds, you know, maybe the fact they're included in this price is fine, but private worlds, the implementation of them is shitty because they just disappear if no one's online.
Yeah, they're peer-to-peer. They're not actually on a service. Yeah.
But then also that's bundled in with, like Reb said, like you get 1,650 atoms. And like, again, bang for buck thing that for people, because like, you know, I'm pretty into the community. I know a lot of people that spend, same as like, I know people that play MLB The Show, they spend like $100 a month in that game. I don't know how, but our friend Matt Piscatella knows. I think he's got over $1,000 in that game. But
the man likes
people spend like, like if the pass is for these people, like the hardcore, but like it has, like you guys said, it has more casual features gated behind it. So the stash space should not be part of the subscription, like 100%. The private worlds should work the way they're supposed to. So it's like, who's this for? You've got some casual features in here and then some really hardcore features in here, and it's all in a really expensive package and half of it's broken. Like,
and I've also seen it pointed out that like they had kind of hinted around the idea that private worlds when they came out would also be moddable, because right now you can't, like mods are a big part of the other Fallout games. You can't mod Fallout 76 because it's an online world. So they've mentioned in places they'd be like, oh, well, we'll work on private servers and those will be moddable. And they brought this out. And I think a couple of weeks ago, they had a news post where they're like, okay, these are coming really soon, but they're not going to be moddable right away. And they didn't give any kind of timeline as to when they would be. So there's just like no fucking advantage at all to playing on a private server. And like Lena said in chat too, so if you make a private server, friends can just join. Like there's not a way to keep it. So if I'm like friends with Derek and I want to make a server to play with Zach and John, and not Derek
can just join in.
Derek can just fucking come in.
It'd be like if everybody you knew just had a key to your house.
Busted in. What's up, everybody?
Wait. Do you mean to tell me that Fallout 6 or Fallout 6 has some undercooked elements in it? Are you telling me there's some undercooked features? I mean, I guess what I find so frustrating about this is like there are other games right now that are like game as a service platforms that are not following into this old school model, right? Like, say what you want, and it's all fair criticism of how DICE has handled Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 5, but they have released free content that the community likes, and the way they fund that is through paid cosmetics for like certain legacy characters that people like. Like, it feels like you can add fan favorite armor that is paid cosmetics while still delivering free like new expansion areas, and people would be, and if your audience is happy with your core experience, they will pay you for the cosmetics. Like Fortnite, how the fuck do you think Fortnite makes its money? Like having cool cosmetics with core gameplay that works. I mean, I'm sure I don't know. It's weird. And like that is a component of it, right? Because they do have the discounted atoms or whatever.
Yeah.
It just feels out of touch and weird and late, but also too soon. I don't know.
It ain't it.
This game,
it just ain't it.
It isn't it. And I think we're gonna see Bethesda just keep throwing money at this, trying to save it until next gen launches, and they can.
For how long though, Zach? Like what is? Do we actually know what? Maybe Jeff is the best person. This like do we know what the actual player, like the size of the player base of this thing, like
I haven't, because like it's hard because it's not on Steam, right? It's on Bethesda's own launcher, so like I don't know.
So you can't track it.
I can't use like Steam. Well, Steam Spy is not really like a thing. I don't know if people still use that because I know they had some API issues. But no, like the impression I get, because I'm on the Reddit pretty frequently and like in the game, like it's got a healthy player base. Like it's not like a waste. No pun intended. It's not a wasteland. Like there's people playing it. The community that is there, like a lot of these games, is small but very dedicated and very committed, and like they're online every day. So like it's not in the realm of like where you can't find a match, you can't find anyone to play with. Like, but it's not. It's basically all it's ever going to be. Like no amount of content updates. Kind of where I think Anthem's falling into now. No amount of updates, no amount of goodwill is gonna, like, just the ship has sailed, and you can keep the people there that are there happy. But yeah, like it's. I don't know. It's hard to imagine them
That sounds
spending.
about right.
I think that there's something like super admirable about like what Hello Games did with No Man's Sky to bring it back, bring it from nothing to a really enjoyable like active game. And they did that with like a lot of communication, a lot of free shit, and a lot of like what I interpreted as listening to what the players were saying they actually wanted. So I don't think it's impossible to bring a game back like that, but I think there's also a point where you have to look at your game and say, you know, we really just need to fucking cut our losses.
Yeah.
Just one last thing, because I was looking at the details of what's in the bundle. Can we just talk about that the cosmetic you get for subscribing right now was the helmet that was popularized? It was, I think it might have been in previous games, but it was at least popularized in Fallout New Vegas, the game not made by Bethesda, that was made by Obsidian, who is launching Outer Worlds tomorrow.
Yeah.
So their main thing is like, you're nostalgic for this helmet for this game that we didn't make. Like,
yep. I will say that the cosmetic items, if you just subscribe for a month and cancel, you do get to keep them. They don't.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's still garbage, but they don't. At least they don't take them back with your.
Yeah, they're not totally fucking you, I guess. So, yeah.
So, I've got a genuine question about Fallout 76, right? Like, so the game's been out for almost a year now. It has had a litany of issues since Jump Street. Now you've got this thing. You've got this this new pay model. You've got all these new bugs that are cropping up. And we've got the next generation around the corner, right? Like these new consoles are going to launch ostensibly next fall, right? Like we're all expecting everything to drop next November. How much longer? And I know Bethesda's working on other things, like obviously the Elder Scrolls 6 is a thing, and what's the name of that space game?
Ghostwire Tokyo, Starfield,
and also
Starfield or whatever it's called.
Starfield,
right? But they also have another AAA title coming before Starfield, or they're supposed to.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly what it is, but like how much longer, one, does the fan base put up with this, and two, how much longer does Bethesda say this is worth our time?
How much longer does Bethesda have an E3 press conference?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
I mean, it's like, listen. I think that as long as Elder Scrolls Online has a huge audience, which it does, apparently, like, that's the thing that we don't hear about a lot. But I think it's like the number 3 or number 4 biggest MMO right now.
Yeah,
ESO is pretty huge.
Yeah. ESO. So ESO is huge, and like I guess that's what's so weird to watch is it's like you're throwing all the, like, Fallout has a big community, but that big community exists because they like Fallout, yes because they like the world, yes because they like those vanilla experiences, but also because of the modding community that supports it. Right, like a lot of what we like about those games on PC is stuff that we have seen through mods. And like Reb was saying, if you're not supporting that in Fallout 76, all you have is this dwindling fan base, and you're kind of milking them for money as you sell them nostalgic headgear and fucking loot boxes that delete your shit. I would see that I'm dropping this by next gen, and I would say they're gonna keep supporting Elder Scrolls Online through next gen, probably revamp that game with greater crossplay now that everybody's playing nice in that way. But like I think Fallout first bombs, and I think it's done after a year, and I think they're going to sunset Fallout 76 by next gen.
That sounds like a smart play. Yeah.
Does anybody think they're going to keep doing a long game with it?
No.
It's funny because
I think they'll get the Wastelanders update out with the NPCs and stuff, because that's been a big promise, and I think that seems like their final vision for the game, but I don't know what they'd add beyond that. Like that seems like a good endpoint.
I would suggest that so Fallout, and I'm sure we've seen the discussion on Twitter like lately, like kind of the slight comments, because at least Outer Worlds is like out almost, and between this and the Fallout 76 thing, there is like definitely this recognition that Fallout as a franchise has very much become a parody of itself. Like it used to be this really kind of smart, sharp commentary on how capitalism and like consumption were just super destructive, and it was very tongue in cheek about it. And now like Vault
It's
Boy,
a goofy theme park
Vault
ride.
Boy, Vault Boy has become like he went from being sort of a joke of like a capitalist mascot into an actual mascot.
Yeah.
And
that they will sell you a bobblehead for. Yep.
Yeah, and so, but at the same time, Fallout still has just as a franchise, like despite the fact that I know a lot of people did love Fallout 4, but Fallout 4 did not get a great reception on launch. Like it was, if I remember right, it was pretty mixed.
And it's worse now than it was at launch. At launch, everyone,
I feel like it was. I feel like there was a mixed thing going on.
No,
I don't
there
remember
was.
What it was.
It was definitely. I think the reviews on that one were a pretty big bag of mixed nuts. Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
It was buggy as shit at launch.
It was lower than Fallout
what
3, but still very high. Like,
right. I think the bugs are what I'm thinking. That's true. But I think so. There's like a group of people who are like super dedicated to Fallout as a franchise. Like no matter what, the series can fucking do no wrong to them. And I do not think, I don't know what they do, but I do not think, so like they have Fallout 4, that's kind of, that's quieted down by now. It still exists, but it's like quieted down. They have Fallout 76 that is not going well. And they have Fallout Shelter, which is mobile. I do not think they go like too long without coming out with some kind of new Fallout branded thing. I don't know what that thing is. I don't think it's Fallout 5. I think it's too soon for that. But I don't think they just let Fallout sleep. I know Bethesda likes to let franchises sleep for a couple of years. Like Elder Scrolls, they love to do that. But I think they have figured out that Fallout is a cash cow, and I don't think they let it sleep for too long.
And like that's such a huge bummer to me because like I think that like it's everything you're saying is like 100% how I feel, Reb, which was just that like they have no idea what the true identity of Fallout should be because old fans like knew that it was a commentary on like war and the war economy, and the new fans are just like war is sick as shit and I love it.
Fucking
and like
nukes are fun.
Nukes rule.
Drop some nukes.
And like they don't know which audience to cater to. Like they would be in such a better place if they were like, "Fuck it, we're not making a new core Fallout game until 2024." Like that would be, and that would frankly be soon. But like they're not going to. You're absolutely right. I mean, who knows? They could just wait for PS5 and Xbox whatever to come out and be like, "Hey, here's Fallout 3 remastered with mod support or something."
I could see that. I think that would make sense. Or even a Fallout 4 like Ultra or Fallout 4 Nuclear Edition or something where it's like Fallout 4 on the all nice and prettied up, and then maybe like combine it with some sort of online elements from 76 or something. I don't know, but actually that makes a lot of sense. That would not surprise me.
I'll say this much real quick. I had somebody ask me a little while ago whether or not I thought Fallout 76 was going to greatly damage the Fallout brand in the long run, and I thought about it for a while. And this was the same worry that Square Enix had with Final Fantasy XIV when it first launched in 2013, right? Like it was a fucking disaster when this game launched, which is why they call it, the new version of Realm Reborn. It was a nightmare, and Square openly admitted this is damaging the Final Fantasy brand. And if we don't fix it, it could potentially damage the brand. It could kill it. Like that's how bad the original Final Fantasy XIV game was. And they went back to the drawing board. It took them like a year or 2 years to revamp the whole game. And now it's like the second most. Was it 3 years?
Yeah, 2010 to 2013.
Okay, right. No, you're right. So and now it's like the second most popular MMO in the world. And the Final Fantasy brand is doing just fine. Do I think that Fallout 76 is as bad for Fallout as Final Fantasy 14 almost was for Final Fantasy? No. I don't, because we all know that when the event, like when Fallout 5 happens, people are going to buy the shit out of it. Like we all know that, right?
Yeah, because like they called that, it was, the second MMO, they called it Final Fantasy, they put a number on it.
Right.
Fallout 76 is a spin-off, it was sort of its own thing.
But, I mean, Zach, go ahead, please.
All I was going to say is that Fallout 76, the main issue with it is it launched too soon. It should have been delayed. If it had launched this fall, if they weren't in such a rush to get it out, it might have been in a better place than it is now.
It could have been launched when it was as an early access game.
And yeah, exactly that, Reb. But also, speaking of games and delays and knowing when's the right time to delay a game, I think that it's actually worth talking about today. Sony, after rumors for the last 24 hours, Sony did confirm 1 month after announcing their February date, they're actually going to be pushing The Last of Us 2 until May. Neil Druckmann actually released a press release about, a paragraph or two saying, hey, right after we did that release, we realized we were going to have to do some crazy crunch, or at least implied there would have to be crazy crunch to get it ready in time to get quality up.
We realized we simply didn't have enough time to bring the entire game up to a level of polish we would call Naughty Dog quality. At this point, we were faced with two options: compromise parts of the game or get more time. We went with the latter, and this new release date allows us to finish everything to our level of satisfaction while also reducing stress on the team.
And honestly, considering Naughty Dog has one of the worst communities in the industry for crunching their employees to get their games out, it's good to see that they're at least, seemingly addressing that.
Yeah. It's interesting to see more publishers doing that and being frank about it. Like, yeah. I kind of wonder, I don't know. I wonder if, had we not had this massive industry crunch conversation over the last several years, I wonder if these games would have been delayed or if they would have just crunched them. Like, I wonder if there's somebody somewhere up there weighing the pros and cons and saying, well, and I'm sure there's multiple factors, right? Like, there's now an awareness of it and how hard it is on human beings and the human cost. But I wonder if there's also kind of a PR angle where they're thinking, we could crunch, we could get this out now, and then we could have in 6 months to a year a shitty article from Kotaku. Not the quality of the article would be shitty, but it would be shitty for them. Talking about how badly we crunched through this and make us look horrible. And do we really want that?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the motivations are.
I want to offer another angle. Like, I know some of us were talking earlier about this, so I respect the hell out of Neil. I don't want to say he's lying in his blog posts. I don't want to start conspiracy theories. And I fully believe that the stress on the team and the crunch and the extra time is all true, that they need all that stuff. But there's different contexts for game delays. And this one, I think, just struck us as really strange because Sony has had so many problems this generation with their first-party games, with delays, starting kind of with God of War. They seem to hold that release date a lot closer to the chest and not announce it until they're sure they can hit it. That's the impression I've got from them lately. And I really thought that them taking so long, them having The Last of Us trotted out every year for several years, and they had this big press week, they had the State of Play trailer and then the press preview event. It really seemed like they were confident this time. So to suddenly, just 4 weeks later, walk up, you have to think that they really were very, very confident in this title. And I would think if Naughty Dog was even on the fence about it, obviously they have enough sway with Sony to be like, Naughty Dog can say we're not releasing this at this time, and Sony will say okay. So if there was any question that they could hit that date, I would think they would have held off for another few weeks until they were like, okay, yeah, we're good, or no, we're not. So I don't know. I still feel like there's more to the story. Obviously, they're not going to share all the behind the scenes dirt, but and I'm certainly not saying that means the game is going to be bad. But I feel like something happened, or there was something that they didn't anticipate that caused this. That's just my thoughts, and I think some people felt the same way.
That's my theory on a different game we're going to talk about here in a minute, but I don't know about The Last of Us.
Yeah, and I guess I just really quickly want to say, to Reb's conversation about now that the industry is actually thinking more consciously about crunch, part of me, the cynical part of me, thinks it's two things. One is that saying, hey, we don't want to crunch your developers is good PR because none of us want to know that our games are made in a fucking sweatshop of a development studio.
Let's be real, there's still crunch.
That's my cynical thing.
I will throw in there too that my editor Brendan shared an article from our site from a little while back that there's a lot going on in that article, but the main crux of it is that when you delay a game, yes, that may alleviate a month's worth of crunch, but it may also extend the crunch for 3 more months.
Because let's not act like The Last of Us 2 hasn't already been on extended crunch for the last year or more. So them saying we're going to not be under crunch is a good way for people who
Nobody's
are
going
not
home at 3 p.m.
People who are not clued in are going to look at that and go, see, good guy, Sony and Naughty Dog, they're not crunching. And it's no, they're just going to be crunching for more months instead of
working 80-hour weeks for a month, they're going to work 70-hour weeks for 3 months. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see. And I'm just going to address it. Our next bigger thing is that somebody asked, "Is this related to the multiplayer?" Who don't know? Yes, the first Last of Us game had multiplayer, but Naughty Dog has since said we're actually taking out the factions multiplayer, the core any of the multiplayer components, and we're actually going to have a different release down the line. Is basically what they've indicated. So. it will be, I don't know, PS5 or something. They're gonna push out like a factions multiplayer thing. But no, this is all tied to single player, which is kind of wild, considering they just let people play 2 or 3 hours of it. But yeah,
something
it's
went
weird.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
Zach.
yeah.
Before we move to the next topic, I always like to do this when chat that I recognized. I just want to say hi to Invader_Doomest. I hope I'm pronouncing that last word right. I've never seen you in chat before. I don't know how long you've been watching us or if this is your first time, but I have just gifted you a sub, so please enjoy that sake emoji, and we're just happy to see you. So stick around.
And we appreciate your comment. He said they said we should really be supportive of delaying.
Yeah,
probably, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, no, we are
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
I agree.
100%.
I caution. I celebrate it, of course, if it makes the game better, if it makes people less stressed. But I would just caution looking at that and say, well, crunch is solved. We did it, internet.
Right.
100% that, which is like, I agree that a delay will probably mean, or I want to believe a delay will mean less crunch, but I also am reluctant to believe an executive when they tell me that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But so speaking of things that come out maybe a little sooner than they're supposed to, Ubisoft had their investor call today.
No, this was not. Oh, well, they did. This is not their financial call. Their financial call's next week.
Oh shit! So there's
what the hell was this?
Yeah, what was
okay, can I talk about this? Because I listened to this whole hour-long thing.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking wild ride. So if you don't, I write for GamesIndustry.biz. It's an industry website. We do the business shit. This means I listen to every investor call. Every investor call is really fucking boring for the most part. We might get one like really interesting quote about, like monetization or something, but by and large, boring as hell. So Ubisoft today, just out of fucking nowhere, I'm sure insiders saw this coming, but out of nowhere, we get this email that's like, by the way, we're adjusting our fiscal targets for this year, for 2019 to 2020, which I believe for them ends in March, their fiscal year. We're adjusting our targets. Numbers are like really wild, but just to give you an idea, they're going from a target. Hold on. They're going from it's a really steep drop. Like it's a huge drop in their plans.
It was like they went like they dropped 11% or something like that, right?
Yeah,
well, their stocks did, but they're
okay. So income. So they're going operating in hold on, sorry, I gotta read this. Operating income they were predicting to have operating income of around $533 million. That was their original plan, and they're dropping that to income of between 20 and 50 million. That is a huge drop. And the reason why, there are two reasons. One is like the less interesting part is that Ghost Recon Breakpoint and to a lesser extent the Division 2 underperformed. Okay, happens. There's interesting reasons behind that, but that's not what we're talking about. But the big thing is they are delaying 3 fucking games. They are delaying Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, and Watch Dogs Legion. All 3 were planned for this fiscal year, and they're delaying them not just to next fiscal year, but to the Q2, Q3 window. So
that's the bigger
between
story.
July 2020 to December 2020 is when these 3 games are coming out. And that is a huge delay. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff in there, but they had this financial call to be fair, Yves Guillemot, the CEO, his explanation for this in the press release was very similar to Naughty Dog's. We want our teams to have more development time to ensure that their respective innovations are perfectly implemented so as to deliver optimal experiences. Like basically, we need more time. Okay, whatever. The financial call was wild, guys. Like these things are so boring. Normally investors ask the most boring ass stupid questions that show they have no indication of what's going on. We had one guy, I've never heard an investor on a call like act as though he knows how games work. This guy asked about draw distance and was like, who did quality control on Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Because it sucks, basically. Another guy was like demanding there were just a lot of really pointed questions. One guy was like, do you think the gamers are going to get pissed about microtransactions? Like everybody was just really pointed. One guy was like, one guy just straight up said he didn't even ask a question. Like they're supposed to call in on their phones and ask questions. That's what their thing is. He didn't ask a question. He was just like, this thing you've done where you've delayed 3 games, you do this every 4 years, right? Like you did this in 2014, you delayed a bunch of games. You did this in like 2010 and you did it in 2006. You just do this all the time.
It's a concentrated conspiracy.
And Guillemot was like, okay. He kind of gave a response like he didn't really know what to do with it because it wasn't and then the guy came back and goes, No, I'm just saying you do this like every 4 years. I don't know if it's a console cycle
Just
thing,
watch
but you
and-
keep doing this. And I'm like, what the hell is this call? So
In
anyway,
2024, you shall do it again.
yeah.
Nostradamus speaks.
So yeah, sorry, I just really wanted to talk about the investor call because I've never
No,
done that wild.
but,
I mean, like that Watch Dogs Legion, my theory, I don't know about the other two. We haven't really heard anything about Gods and Monsters. I don't care about Rainbow Six Quarantine.
So
but I do think the thing with Watch Dogs Legion is we've seen how technical that game is. You know they found some real weird ass bugs in that game that are not getting fixed between now and the end of the fiscal year.
But also, well, so two things. One, I saw the Ubisoft team who is working on Legion put something on Twitter where they were like, we're happy to be taking this extra time that's been granted to us, which to me is almost like they're phrasing it in a way that doesn't sound like they asked for it, but I'm sure they were. It was a weird way of phrasing it. Who knows? Like, it might be one of the French-based studios that made it translate. It felt weird, like the way they handled it, but also like it feels like this shit has been coming because I think the last, and maybe I'm forgetting, but I feel like the really big last Ubisoft game before this was Crew 2, and Crew 2 had some notoriously bad quality control issues where like they would have restaurants on street corners and they would just be nonsensical broken English, like they didn't make any sense, like the world was fucking broken.
Those
hamburger
were
fire
fun.
hydrant.
Those were
Yeah,
great.
which was like,
where's that article? I loved that.
Some of those signs
but basically I think the story was that they outsourced it to like a contract shop, and then like they churned out like bizarre content that made their world really, really weird. And like,
oh my god, I love that.
But I mean, so like it feels like this has been coming. Like, what was the last big Ubisoft game between now, Breakpoint, and Crew?
There are two this year.
Odyssey released after the Crew 2,
Shit.
and that was like
You're
a
right.
massive
Odyssey was
success.
Yeah, Odyssey was great.
Yeah.
You're so right. I'm so sorry.
That's the
I like
Assassin's
that
Creed
game.
team, though. They're very like.
Yeah, no, but this year they've had the Division 2, which and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and apparently the Division 2 didn't sell quite as well as they expected. Ghost Recon Breakpoint is apparently selling very poorly. I mean, I haven't seen anything to that effect numbers wise, but they're acting like, oh shit, we fucked this up. And that one's an interesting one. There was like a long discussion in the financial call that was talking about monetization of that game and how it wasn't correct. Yves Guillemot like straight up said, we don't do pay to win microtransactions in our games. And Ghost Recon Breakpoint seems to have some of those, so I don't know. But yeah, it's very interesting the things on Ghost Recon Breakpoint and why that's not going well for them. I think the most interesting thing that he said about it that was actually maybe accurate is the idea that Ghost Recon Breakpoint, that's coming after, what's the other Wildlands.
Yeah.
So people liked Wildlands. Wildlands was good. Is good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it launched rough, and then they got it in a great place.
Yes. So Wildlands is a game that people have been playing ongoing. A lot of money for Ubisoft has been doing very well. Guillemot had a point where he said something to the effect of how live games and games as a service, it's getting harder to do because when you have a live game that's gone on for a couple years and everybody really likes it, your next game really needs to innovate. It needs to take the things that were good about that other one and then do them like significantly and meaningfully better. Otherwise, people aren't going to want to pay for that new thing. They're going to stick to the thing that's familiar. And sports games have been in this kind of weird thing where people are willing to accept a new game every year that's just barely like incrementally better than the one before it. But it seems to be turning out, at least in Ubisoft's case, that maybe you can't do that for every genre of game. And people will they'll just bounce off it. And so I don't know. I thought that was an interesting insight. I don't know if it's going to end up being true. It might just be that Breakpoint's a bad game. Well, I don't know.
So like, I want to take that. I want to bounce it over to Jeff because I know Jeff is basically our resident. And he's been playing. Jeff, you've been playing Breakpoint. You play basically every major AAA Ubisoft game, and I would love to get your take on the actual game delays themselves because.
I mean, Reb did a really good job covering like the financial logistics of it and stuff like that.
Reb, that was great.
Yeah, the articles were great, but I think this is interesting. A lot of times we see a disconnect between like people that like games, like how a game's received critically and how it sells, and like everyone online is saying this game is trash, but it's like the best-selling game of the year and stuff like that. And then I think now we've with some of these specific games, we finally see kind of a convergence of the complaints that people had about the games and disappointments for Ubisoft and delaying other games. And some of this is specific to these genres, and I think some of it is specific to Ubisoft games in general. So the the first one I saw, some reviews of Breakpoint mentioned it, is Ubisoft has a problem where their games bleed together. And I might have talked about this on a podcast before, where they've got these things like Eagle Vision Assassin's Creed, which is basically the same thing as your drone in Breakpoint, where you put an item above you to get an overview of the land and you mark everything and then you work your way through and take it out. And their skill trees and 11, like, so they've got these do well for them in some games, but Ubisoft mentioned this in their call today that some of these games have failed to differentiate themselves, and that's part of that is that they're losing their identity, especially when you look at something like The Division and Breakpoint coming out in the same year, featuring super realistic military. They've got the Tom Clancy branding. The moment-to-moment gameplay in them is entirely different, but all the aesthetics and atmosphere and tone surrounding them is very similar. And then on top of that, so Division 2 is like a loot shooter, and Breakpoint is kind of, you wouldn't call it a sim, but it has a big military enthusiast audience. Sorry, Zach, you can interrupt.
No. I was gonna agree with you. No, keep going.
And Ghost Recon, especially Wildlands, has a very hardcore community. I kid you not, there were months and months and pages on Reddit about bloused boots. I had to go and look up what bloused boots are. People really, really cared about bloused boots in this game. And they're very fickle. And I think when the Ubisoft, again, in their call today, they talked about the community not being receptive to certain changes is things. I think they underestimated putting in a loot system in Breakpoint that nobody asked for, things like gear score. And then the way the microtransactions were handled. Eves is correct. Like, Wildlands had a lot of microtransactions and no one gave a shit, and people bought all of them. Siege has tons of microtransactions. So I think a lot of the case with this game is they just really missed the mark and misunderstood what people wanted. And I don't know exactly what went wrong with the microtransaction store here, but I know a lot of the gameplay changes, even in the betas before the game came out, I was on the Reddit and people were turning away from the game. The gear score system, including myself, I didn't even buy the game. I bought a month worth of Uplay, but really turned people off the game. And similar to Division, the loot shooter community, especially like games like Destiny, they know what they like. They're very passionate about it, and they give direct feedback and specific feedback to developers on, like, even on like really, really detailed stuff. Like, here's how you fix the loot system. You need to reduce the gear score on this particular item from this to this. And so I think just a lot of the problems with these games' reception is they didn't anticipate how big of an effect screwing up these little they seem like little details, but they turned off their core audience, and the mainstream audience wasn't there to back them up. And I do think it's interesting that, sorry, I'm going on forever.
No, you're good.
You're fine.
I will give Ubisoft credit. When Assassin's Creed, when people were like, okay, this shit needs to be fixed, they took time and rebooted it, and Origins and Odyssey are some of the best received games in the entire franchise. And I think they'll probably be able to do the same, but Watch Dogs has a shitload of pressure on it, because that second Watch Dogs is not a huge franchise. The first game did well. The second game, I think, sold okay over time. It got a lot of deep discounts and had some decent legs, but that came out in a busy time of year, I think in October, November. And like, Watch Dogs is not a Ghost Recon. It's not a Division.
And this next one, Jeff, is extremely experimental.
I like Watch Dogs 2 is one of my favorite games of the generation. I am super skeptical about Legion. I think the narrative is going to be a disaster, because I don't know how you write a decent narrative when you can play it every single game. And so those systems and mechanics and polish really have to make up for that. And I'm really worried about that game. And now all the weight of the missed sales on this year's games are now on Watch Dogs. Like, yikes.
Yeah.
What we need, Zach. No, please, Zach.
No. All I was gonna say is a quick thing, and I'm gonna throw it to Reb, because Reb wanted to chime in something.
Okay.
The quick thing I'll say is, like, I always feel like Ubisoft, or not always, but in recent years, it feels like Ubisoft, a good development studio, and like this is kind of what EA has wanted to do, but they haven't done it, is that a good studio will use similar engines and learn to collaborate in a way that will reduce employees having to crunch and redo work, where they can share resources and do work better and learn from each other and make really compelling games. But I think Ubisoft has done it to the point where, like, they have figured out systems that make it, that feel good to play, that look good, like the towers. You climb a tower and then the circle, you get the spinning camera around it. Like, but it feels like we're getting to a point where their games have so much collaboration from a development standpoint that everything is so homogenous. Whereas like what could have made this game stand out, Breakpoint stand out, is it has a little hint of like survival aspects where like if you're injured, your character is slower and their stamina drains faster, but they don't fully commit to that, and so you're stuck with this weird in between thing. And it's also got the loot system from Division 2, so it's just a real hodgepodge where they can't really figure out where they want to go all in, and it just feels like a whole lot of nothing. It's super homogenous. It's everything you were saying, Jeff. Reb, you said you had a quote small thing you wanted to add.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to point out on Breakpoint and the Division 2 and maybe why they didn't do well, but I don't know. I think this is an interesting observation. I also I don't want to get on the let's all hate the Epic Game Store bandwagon. Like I'm not in that camp at all. I do think it's interesting. Like Anno 1800 was also on the Epic Game Store. I don't think that was a major Ubisoft release this year. It just kind of was what it was. But the Division 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint were both the first two like major Ubisoft releases to be, instead of on Steam, to be on Epic on PC. And I think they are they're not the only like big AAA games on the Epic Game Store. Like there are some others on there, right? Isn't Red Dead Redemption 2 coming to the Epic Game Store?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah,
that
and the Rockstar launcher.
Yeah.
And Borderlands 3 is there as well.
Yeah.
And they said that game was way up instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Huge.
I don't know. I really do wonder if the Epic Game Store move had anything to do with it.
I will say Ubisoft had a previous statement about Division 2. They actually said it underperformed on consoles, but did pretty well on PC.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So-
interesting.
I would also say,
yeah.
sorry, I was gonna say, Reb, like no matter what, whether or not the Epic Game Store did have something to do with it, I'm sure people are gonna latch onto that as a.
I didn't see anybody. I think people forgot.
Well, that Reb or yeah.
I think people forgot. Like they don't care because they all got on Uplay. They don't care.
I was gonna say, do you think that people who get hot and bothered and angry about fucking launchers are people who live best fucking know?
No,
They just
I don't
want to
know.
have
I
an
mean,
excuse
I did see today the news that the Fortnite launcher on Android has been changed to the Epic Game Store launcher,
yeah.
which
Oh,
is
God.
I believe I didn't take the time to dig up the source, but I believe that Epic at some point made some statement about how they want to do mobile as well. And
Yeah.
so this sounds to me like very soon we're going to be hearing about now their Epic Game Store is also going to be on mobile. It's going to have multiple titles.
somebody
And
check on Lash.
Where are the bastions of fans of the Google Play Store coming to defend it from the Epic Game Store launcher? Where are they? Come forth.
Just
Yep.
wait.
They're not giving up
We're
that.
gonna find some new allegiances on some particular accounts soon.
Guys, I just want to let
I
everybody
got
know
you.
we got a little bit of breaking news.
Yeah.
Oh
Bit
no,
of
I
breaking
can't.
news.
It's
No.
John. Is this where you
it's
tell us something that you think is breaking news, but it's not going to be worth it?
No, it's
9:27
it's 100% breaking news. 100% breaking news. There's a new WWE 2K glitch.
Yes.
There's a new
Give
one,
it to me.
Brandon.
Give it to me.
This guy in the character like has 3 ass cheeks.
This is the breaking news.
What was
He has
the
3 ass cheeks.
Don't destroy me like this, John.
I'm going
Fuck
to
this
throw it out.
podcast.
I am going to throw it out in the chat.
I don't want those.
3 butt
Everybody
cheeks
see
though.
it.
what was
I-
the
It's
what was the
three
basketball?
ass cheeks.
Jesus.
3 ass. There it is, right there in chat. Everybody can check it out. This is Brandon will vouch for me. This is the good shit right
John,
here.
John, if you don't mind, I want to do a quick favor for all of our listeners
Please do a favor.
in post. Siri, unsubscribe from SDGC podcast.
We don't. You remember earlier? You remember earlier how I said that we drive Zach to drink? This is Zach. We have a brand up hold, my man. And I'm sorry, but dude, a guy named Brock Lesnar in a wrestling game with 3 ass cheeks. To me, that's
not nearly as
that's the news-
interesting as the
the news people
wrestling
need.
around
not
the arena
really
or the
3 butt
eyeballs
cheeks,
dropping out.
but-
Yeah, a weird lump where
What
his
I'll
spine
say
got
is-
too long. That's not that interesting.
Reb,
Come on, John.
If everybody looks in chat, people seem to agree with me for once.
What
Look at
dark
this. I've got the
fucking
support of the
I am
chat
all
now.
about the
No.
triple
Stockholm
cheeks.
syndrome.
There's
I
a
was
point.
thinking-
The
There's
chat
a point
supports-
about once every couple months where this podcast goes off the rails and Zach and I are just over here kind of looking at each other through the computer like,
to be.
I'll drop this call.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to
he
say
has a
about?
little tail. He has a little tail. Thank you, Blade.
Do we have anything else we want to say about Ubisoft before we start answering questions?
What if this is all just bait for next gen? It's not. It's not.
It's not. They did say.
I'm joking.
They did say. They did. They no. It's not. They did say.
Wow.
That because they said it's not an interesting theory because they specifically said that all three Watch Dogs, Gods and Monsters, and the Rainbow Six whatever plus Roller Champions got in there.
You mean my roller derby game has been delayed? Why did I not hear about this?
It's not delayed. It's always been.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's just still where it was. But all four of those are going to get some sort of next gen upgrade. That doesn't mean they're gonna be new console exclusive. What it probably means is that they're gonna come out as planned, and then they're gonna have they're also going to be released on the new consoles with some sort of extra upgrade to make them look prettier. That's what's probably gonna happen. Also, just to throw out there, Skull and Bones still in development, delayed to wildly 2021 to 2022.
What the fuck?
All
that
the
game
way
doesn't
out there.
exist.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, big question.
Skull and Bones is going to wind up as the ship mechanic in another Assassin's Creed game.
I am willing to bet that they rebooted the fuck out of that because I played that at E3 2018, and it was basically just the ship mechanics from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That's
the creative director left last year, I believe.
Oof.
Yeah, something's going on there. Something's going on with that one.
I'm sorry. I should have. I wish I remembered her name. Fuck, I can't even remember the developer she works for, but I'm so sorry. There's a tweet going around video game Twitter right now. A woman who works in game dev who is saying that something in mind. One thing that could be powering these delays is that a lot of development teams are looking at making forward compatible games and how to make games that take the most of next gen hardware. And so they could be, she's not saying this is 100% the reason, but it could explain some of the reason we're seeing extended development times, which is like adding things that will really get the most out of games on the consoles that are out next year. So everybody, listen, I know our community that listens to this, and I know everyone on this panel, like we're all pro delay when it means that people are going to be working better and it will lead to a better game. But I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about, which is like people are delaying it not for 2019 reasons, but for 2020 and 2021 reasons. So I don't know, John. Do we have more topics, or
we've got some questions though.
Shit! Can we?
We did start late.
Can we do a rapid? Can we do like a? It's 10:30, John. Can we do some rapid ones?
We did delay the podcast.
We did delay the podcast.
That's true.
We can go a little bit long.
I have a question for everybody. Just do we think next generation? Do we think the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet will be able to power 4 ass cheeks as opposed to 3?
Nope. Next question.
Okay,
I don't want to
asking. just asking. At any rate, so there was a really good one from our buddy our buddy Josh over constantly calibrating. I fucking love this question. If you had to be buried alive in one breakfast food, what would it be and why? Goal would be you have to eat your way out.
Ooh.
The fucking clear answer is peanut butter crunch.
Easy.
I'm sorry.
Peanut butter. I mean, I'm gonna go with oops all berries.
You're gonna go with what, Brandon?
Oops all berries.
Your mouth would be bleeding after 8 bites.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Easiest question ever.
Fresh watermelon.
Ooh, Reb found the loophole.
It needs to be something light. Like I can't eat my way through like a layer of bacon. But I can eat my way through watermelon.
Like, can you imagine?
Watermelon's healthy.
Yeah.
It's easy, so it like comes apart like really nicely, and it'll hydrate you as you eat.
And it's also like 97% water.
But this has to be cereal though. That's not.
No, he said breakfast food.
Breakfast food. No, you're right. No, you're right. Oh, I misread that. You're right. It's breakfast food. 100%. Okay.
And the answer is obviously 1,000 uncooked eggs. And I'm just gonna work my way through it.
Zach is barely straight out of a Rocky movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be ripped.
I've got to go.
You're gonna come out and you're gonna be shitting to death.
Pancakes, peanut butter pancakes with some cinnamon cardamom
pancakes are
butter.
Heavy, my dude.
You
can
take 4 feet and die.
Your stomach's gonna be a brick.
What are you going to? The question isn't what is your ideal breakfast food
No.
for someone to sit on a plate in front of you. The question is, what would you rather eat your way out of?
Reb, you misunderstand my love for pancakes. I want to drown in an ocean of pancakes.
I believe your love for pancakes. I doubt your physical ability.
No, you don't understand. John is hoping to die in the process, apparently.
Yes, like that's you know, like that's probably the best way to go. And I'll just say, Jeff, this isn't something you're going to see, but next weekend, Derek will see my ability to put down a motherfucking pancake. Like, there will be no doubts. Derek's going to report back to everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to report
That's weird,
back
like,
the
we went out for
horrors of
breakfast
war.
at PAX, and I have a picture of you not even finishing your fucking breakfast.
You know what? Here's the
John
thing.
doesn't fucking eat anything before noon.
Like, I gotta look this up. Look at this in the chat. People need to know.
John doesn't do anything before noon. He's like useless.
Call out culture. John, you canceled.
Okay.
You can't eat breakfast.
Here's the thing. First of all, Reb is 100% correct. Okay.
Thank you.
Second of all, I didn't finish my breakfast because I wanted to be able to navigate PAX in a timely fashion. I'm sorry, Jeff, but that's the fucking way it is, dude. Like, I can't walk around a gaming convention fucking with a bunch of doughy bricks sitting in my stomach.
Brandon,
I can't fucking do it.
We're done with
Says
John.
the man.
Brandon.
Says the man.
I was still oops all berries. We're done letting John talk.
It was pancakes that you didn't finish.
I don't think so.
We need to go back to Captain Crunch.
They weren't even close to finish.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Jeff,
why do
again.
you like oops all berries?
Because there's like it's pure sugar.
It's not good.
Because it's all berries,
Oh, it's
apparently.
the best.
It's not good. I love
listen.
peanut butter crunch. Peanut butter crunch is great.
No,
but-
peanut butter
Crunch is
crunch is the
fucking
bad
awesome.
part that you have to eat around to get to the berries. So they fixed that.
Peanut
by
butter
just
crunch
making a
isn't
fucking-
in oops all berries. Why would you put peanut butter and berries in a cereal together? What kind of fucking
Exactly.
clowns do you
That's
think
why
are
Also,
running the
I-
cereal
let
company?
let me say, oops
Nobody-
all berries does to poop what asparagus does to
Oh yeah, it's the worst. Oh it's
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. So if you
It's
want
so
to poop
bad.
purple-
Asparagus pea's pretty bad.
Yeah. So oops all berries will do it to you, Derek. So
Oh
I
yeah.
have-
you want so
nothing.
obviously what you need to do is you need to have an afternoon
Die.
snack.
That is insane.
Brandon,
Kevin-
regular Captain Crunch is what's in the berry Captain Crunch. Peanut butter
Yes.
crunch is a different cereal that you should try because it's better than the
Yeah.
berries.
Oh okay. Peanut
have
butter
a-
crunch.
I have
What
a-
is that?
Thank
Is
you.
that Kellogg's?
It's Captain
whoever
Crunch.
makes the berries. It's the same company.
So
Wait, what? What are you talking? Wait, now you confuse
Listen, no,
me.
stop. Okay, Brandon. There's Captain Crunch, which is a cereal.
And then there's Captain
that-
Crunch Crunch Berries, and then there's
Yes.
Oops All Berries.
And there's
and
also
then there's
peanut butter crunch.
butter crunch.
What the hell is peanut butter crunch? I'm not fucking.
It's
10
so
years old.
imagine the shape of the
how
berries.
fucking dare you, Brandon?
Imagine the shape of the berries in Oops All Berries, but it's the color of regular Captain Crunch because regular Captain Crunch is like squares. This is a round, like dark colored thing,
It's a puff.
and it
Okay,
tastes like
okay,
peanut
okay.
butter. It's
So it
peanut
looks like
butter
Kit.
cereal.
But it's part of the Captain
No,
Crunch
it's
Captain Crunch
good.
brand.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
extremely
So
good.
there's
Brandon,
four-
please
there's
try
four
peanut butter
members of
crunch
the
for me
Captain
and report
Crunch
back.
family.
Yes.
Please
that
try
what-
peanut butter
Is
crunch
this
and
what
report
you're
back.
telling
It's
me?
very
There's
good.
4 members of the Captain
Yes.
Crunch
I am telling you
And
this.
Oops
yes.
All Berries
Okay.
is actually the
Now
most
I-
recent member of the
It's the
Captain Crunch family.
inferior child.
Plus,
Wow.
here's the thing: when peanut butter crunch makes your milk taste like a sandwich, which is oddly
It's
satisfying.
good.
It
It's
really,
good.
yeah, no, Reb knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it also makes
Like,
it have a
it's-
sandy texture in your mouth.
I
You always
Also
get a
very good.
weird layer
Yeah,
on the
it's
roof
just-
of your mouth.
There's
on
There's
the
something
palate.
about there's something about milk that has had peanut butter crunch marinating in it that
Mhm,
is,
yeah.
is extremely.
It's a staple of
It
Saturday
makes it
mornings right
thick
It
there.
really
and
is.
heavy. It's
It's
weird.
real good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brandon, please try peanut butter crunch the next time you purchase cereal and report back
Okay.
because I'm very
Peanut
interested
butter
into
crunch.
what your peanut butter crunch, not regular Captain Crunch,
Yep.
not
alright,
berry
regular
Captain Crunch with
You
regular
got it.
Captain Crunch in it, not Kix, not some other brand, peanut butter crunch.
I said they look like Kicks.
No.
Like little. They don't. Okay. you
Derek.
said
So-
little circles, right?
So we do have more questions. We do have another.
Derek
a-
raised his hand.
I
Oh,
haven't
did
given my
Derek have his hand
answer.
up?
No.
Oh shit, Derek!
Yeah.
Please.
Guys, you're missing the safest answer of all. Rice Krispies. They're 90% air.
I think watermelon.
It is the safest thing, but not no. Watermelon's 90% water. It'll still fill your stomach.
Or
Rice
tons of
Krispies, I
sugar
could
on
eat
my
through
Rice
a
Krispies.
mile of Rice Krispies, and my stomach would
Wait,
only be half
Why would
full.
air not fill your stomach?
Well, because you're gonna burp it out probably. Like,
I mean, probably.
It's just gonna get bloated as fuck.
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, you're gonna have bubble guts if you do that.
Well, no, because when you chew it, obviously you're not swallowing the air still inside the. It's not. That's not how chewing works.
You assume we chew.
That
our
is not
food.
the process of mastication. Like.
All right. We got to move on to another question.
This is the second podcast out of our last like 4 that we've talked about cereal.
Yeah, well, no, because dude, breakfast is fundamental. Breakfast is a staple.
I agree.
Breakfast. We're talking about staple foods. This is from at DJ__ Stormageddon. If you were a pint of ice cream, what flavor would
Okay,
you be?
do we have a gaming question?
No, why?
Ben and Jerry's half baked.
You gotta there you go. There you go. Is that Reb?
Huh?
Chubby Hubby also.
Reb.
Ben
a
and Jerry's salted
Sorry, I was
caramel.
making a Twitter poll. What's the question?
Oh, it's okay. If you were a pint of ice cream, what flavor would you be?
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's salted
Strawberry.
Oh, I can absolutely see that. Yep. 100%. Derek?
Absolutely birthday cake.
Did you just shut the door?
Ooh,
That
the
dog
birthday
Shut the
cake
dog
is
up.
good.
The birthday
Maybe
cake is
I'm
good.
trying to.
Yeah,
Okay,
love the
one
birthday
dog or
cake
another.
person.
Jeff,
Dogs.
what's your ice cream flavor? What would you be?
I don't know. I can't really eat ice cream because of my allergies. And
Oh, that's
so,
true. Yeah.
Like I don't know, vanilla.
You could be a sorbet. You could be a delicious frozen yogurt sorbet.
All right, I'll take that.
There you go. Brandon, what about you?
Oh, the Ben and Jerry's salted caramel.
Salted caramel. Okay. I would
The core,
obvious.
the core. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I would be you know what? I would be cookie dough ice cream.
Yeah, that's
A
my second
classic.
choice.
A classic.
A classic. Yeah, it's
You all
simple.
gotta put more junk in your ice cream.
Birthday cake.
Put some
Has to count.
Strawberry.
Ben and Jerry's. I want like 90% garbage, 10% ice cream in there.
I'm just so
Actually, do you all
distracted by
know-
what's going on Derek's screen right now.
And
Do
I'm
you
sorry.
all know one of my favorite? I love. So here's my weird thing about me. If you hang out with, if I go to a place with you, some of you encountered this at PAX West because I wanted to go get ice cream, and I wanted to go to a place that had a bunch of weird ass ice cream because I will try weird flavors of things. I love like floral things that are weird. And so I love lavender ice cream. I think lavender ice cream is the most amazing thing in the world. And the thing about lavender ice cream is you either love it or you think it tastes like soap. Like it's one of those two. And it just, wait, what is that? That's not your dog.
No,
That's
it's
your dog, Derek.
We're watching this dog over the weekend.
Oh, right.
I like that dog too. Bring it back. Who is that?
His name is Axel.
Hi, Axel. Welcome to whatever we're doing here. What kind of ice cream would you be, Axel?
He's gone.
He's gone.
whatever.
Axel's-
He's off running with the
fucking
pit bulls now again.
So
Wait,
we're gonna,
Cam, where am I getting barbecue ice?
Barbecue
I've
ice
actually
cream.
had-
What the fuck?
I don't know.
when I worked at a Chinese restaurant when I was 16, we had red bean ice cream. It was fucking garbage.
Oh,
Red bean's great.
ugh.
Red bean's good. I love red bean stuff. I've had curry ice cream, which is something that is good to like have a sample of, but I would never order it.
So we're going to do one more question, and Zach, I'm sorry, but it's not
Oh, you're good.
Because-
I'm just sleepy. This is
because
fine.
Go and die.
so we'll get through this one quickly. But this is the best fucking question we've been asked in a long time. So I'm going to
All right.
hit you with it.
go.
By John
from
standards.
At Massive Corgi, what is more important in a sandwich, good filling or good bread?
Good filling.
Wait, well, so what makes what? Okay, now if I say good filling, does that mean I'll eat any bread? Because that's not true. But a good filling is more important.
It's just more important. It's
let's
just more
assume
important.
mediocre
Not-
bread
what
because
is more
bad bread or
crucial?
bad fillings either way ruins the sandwich entirely.
So would you
So-
rather? So Zach, let me ask you this: would you rather have? Do you like a good Reuben?
Oh yeah.
You know what I like, John? I like a spicy Italian with lots of meats.
Okay,
high
so-
five, buddy.
Get some
Yo, come on,
peppers in
stop
there.
making me. Oh
So-
man, I gotta go.
So
I play Modern to eat.
so
Brandon's gonna be pulling from that vape.
So
Wait for some Subway.
Zach, here's the easy answer to the question: when you have your nice Italian sub, right? Would you prefer like some bread, whatever, it's chewy, like
mind me just
Subway
hitting
quality
my
bread,
vape.
but you've got like the finest capicola, the finest
Oh,
salami,
John.
like
It's the
or would you
capicola,
rather have-
baby. It's always the capicola.
Okay, delicious, crustiest, like fucking just melt in
Nah,
your mouth
man.
Italian bread. So it's meat then. It's the filling.
Yeah, it's me. If I'm
Yes.
listen, if I'm gonna dedicate my life to some carbohydrates, I might as well eat some fucking cake. The bread is secondary to the fucking capicola.
I'm just gonna go like
Next
super
person.
basic here. It's the filling. If I have a cheese sandwich just a basic cheese ass sandwich, grilled cheese, whatever. And my options are real basic bread and some fancy ass good melty perfect cheese, or a slice of American cheese and some real fancy like bakery bread. I'm picking the cheese.
I'll say this.
So I'm gonna rip the bread off the bread sandwich.
No, Reb, that is valid. Reb, that's valid. The only thing I'll say is that there is one sandwich where you could argue that better bread is more important. And I'll tell you what sandwich that is. It's the classic peanut butter and jelly. Because if you have peanut butter that's just fine and you have jelly that's just fine, you can, or if you have great peanut butter and jelly and or whatever, you can take mediocre bread and toast that shit and put the fucking peanut butter and jelly on there, and all of a sudden, bam!
Toasting it? Why is he toasting it? Anyone know?
It adds a little bit of crunch.
You never had a toasted
nice
PBJ?
Does anyone know?
Yeah.
No, I don't understand that.
It adds a little bit of
really?
Rob, you should try it. Actually, it adds a little bit of crunch.
It's kind of
Don't
nice.
tell Johnny's right.
I have also never had that, but it sounds great.
It's
kinda
very
nice.
good.
Fucking amazing.
Why do you think that John's peanut butter opinions are great the instant he says them? But if I say something about thing, you have to go on. You just immediately
The thing you say about
disbelieve.
peanut butter may matter. Like, peanut butter makes for good shampoo. Well,
Now,
no.
Reb, I'm not defending Reb.
If I came in here and told you all straight face that I had used peanut butter for shampoo and it was fucking amazing, would you believe me?
No, not in that
What
one.
the fuck, Derek?
No,
What
I'm
I'll say,
sorry,
though,
Reb.
what I'll say is I'm not backing up John because of peanut butter. I'm backing him up because I like toasted bread.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you
So you're
considered
a
that,
bread
Reb?
man. You're a bread man over.
I'm not a bread man. I'm a fillings man. I'm a fillings
He's a
man.
bread man.
I'm offended by the amount of peanut butter talk.
Fillings
on this
man.
show.
Born in
Yeah,
bread.
true.
Jeff-
Jeff's having a reaction just listening to this part.
So we'll go ahead and wrap it up
You're
here.
eating toast.
Peanut butter
Well,
actually makes an incredible assassination weapon.
If you've never had a toasted PBJ, you need to try it. We'll Zach is yawning, and I know Brandon wants to go do other things, so we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up here. I will say that if Derek and Reb are available tomorrow morning, I have the day off tomorrow, so we could
I'm
do
not
an extra-
available.
I
You
Working
told me-
hard or hardly working, John?
You literally called me 12 hours before we're doing.
Yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't be able.
I'm staying home tomorrow because Moo is recovering from
Yeah,
surgery.
I wouldn't be able to do the show, so
That's fine. don't
No,
worry
I'm
about
going to the
Just
doctor.
play, John. Just play Outer Worlds, buddy.
it. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, I'm gonna play Dragon Quest 11, but it's
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm going to the doctor, everyone, to get my flu shot. If you are medically able to do so, please get your flu shot.
Get vaccinated, please.
Mhm.
Get vaccinated.
Vaccines are
Vaccinate your
good.
kids. And vaccinate
And,
yourself. Don't
and,
do it to yourself. Get a
Who
doctor.
knows? Don't forget, Reb and Justin and I did a really interesting talk about violent video games, and you can get that on our channel and on.
Wow, you are breaking up
we'll-
so
Yeah,
fucking
what?
bad there.
Say what?
Can you guys? Is that better?
Yeah, you're good.
Sure.
Okay.
It's
I just wanted
Discord.
to say that Reb and Justin and I earlier did a really good recording on violent games. And you can find that on our YouTube channel and also on SoundCloud and all other major podcast services. Who knows? Maybe we'll do some recorded content this weekend. That's what I would like to do. And of course, next week we'll be back on Thursday. And then the following, that coming weekend, Derek and I are doing our extra live stream. We're going to have a lot of fucking fun. I cannot wait. And if nobody has anything else, thank you. We had some new faces in chat tonight. We really appreciate it. And I hope you come back and see us. And as always, it's not always poetry and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So until next week and all through the weekend, please take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and enjoy. That's all I got. Let's go.